Hi everyone, so I'm very excited to bring you this video and show you our latest finding, and I believe this is also pretty much the final one in terms of how to optimize the new Firebird wizard in groups. So we decided to revisit the Firebird 4-man speeds, and we are trying various setups to try to optimize it with triple support, double wizards, the flame blade stuff and explosive blast and geom and these kind of things. And then we got the suggestion from Remind, so a big shout out to him. He's a high-end wizard player on EU. You might have seen his name on leaderboards here and there. And I also played some seasons with him myself, actually. So he suggested to us to try an Archon version with this. And the way this is supposed to work is that you have two wizards alternating their rotations, being 20 seconds in Archon and 20 seconds out of Archon in tandem, and feeding each other Archon stacks. And then whenever they come out of Archon, they disintegrate everything and then they just blast everything away. So always have one guy dealing a lot of damage and one guy kind of like, getting fed and maybe pulling some stuff, teleporting around, helping out a little bit. And then he comes out and then he blasts and they go back and forth like this. So this setup is extremely cool, and I played it last night with Rob for 2 hours or something, and we just had so much fun trying it out and kind of like learning how to do it properly. And it does require a little bit of coordination in that sense, but it's not really the worst. Essentially, you just decide on one wizard to go into Archon first, and then the second wizard will just press his Archon exactly when the other one comes out. And then you just look at your stacks, and you can always see the 20-second duration. And whenever your stacks run out, you press Archon exactly that moment. So like this, you always have this one wizard in and one out of Archon, and you just melt through those GR130s, 135s. We even went up to 140 with this, and while it's not really consistently quite fast on these really high tiers, you can definitely do that in a good map, as you can see. So this test was performed with Paragon 5K, so obviously quite high end, and my gear was not really that well optimized. Rob's gear was really good, so it was also a little bit like a real situation where I have like one really strong wizard and one little bit weaker wizard probably. So we also tried this completely removing all paragons, and we went into like a GR125, and we had like, I don't know, 11k main stat or something, and we just breezed through this anyway. So, the paragons just add something like between 8 to 10 tiers or so in that case, probably less even. So it's not really like crazy, and you can definitely perform really well with this even at the season start. And it doesn't even require a lot of gear. Essentially, you get all the stuff, you get a swarming with a 20-second duration, you get a cooldown on every piece, and then you just blast. The setup is quite tanky as long as you have your explosive blast stacks from Orb of Infinite Death up. So this is the one moment where you need to be really careful. When you come out of Archon, you lose your Archon defense and you don't have the explosive blast yet. So you have to ignite stuff, and then you have to be a little bit careful to not get instant blasted by not standing in the middle. But if you're a little bit outside of the pool, you press the explosive blast, you get your Orb of Infinite Death stacks in like 1 or 2 seconds, and then you have insane damage reduction, you have billions of toughness, and you go in there and you melt everything with your flame blades. So this meta is extremely fun. It's not really super fast in terms of clear speed. So typically we did like 3-minute runs on like the lower tiers, let's say, so 135s in our case. So with like maybe Paragon 2K, this would translate to like a 130, for example. And then sometimes you have a little bit of a slower run, like 3.5 minutes, in a really terrible rift up to 4 minutes. So the speed is definitely much slower than, for example, red runs, but the tiers are much higher. So red necromancers with comparable gear and Paragon could probably do something between 115 and 120, and they do it faster, so like consistent 90 to maybe 100 seconds. So red runs are almost the same all the time, and they're definitely quite quick. So this is the advantage there. You get more loot, you get more augments, but here you go higher, so you get higher augments, and you also, you play an actual fun setup. Like, this is so cool, and I'm really looking forward to playing this when the new season starts. I can only say that everyone who's gonna play this is probably gonna have a lot of fun, especially after years of red runs. I do expect Blizzard to nerf Firebird a little bit. And right now, Firebird is just so good at everything. So it can be a trash clearer in 4-man, it can be a Rift Guardian killer in 4-man, it will be the speed meta that will beat the rats finally. It will be probably the top solo build or very close to. So there is lots of stuff for Firebird, and it's just very strong. So I believe that the overall playstyle is not going to change, the builds are not going to change. They're just going to adjust the numbers a little bit and then call it a day. And my suggestion to Blizzard would be to revert the change to the 2-piece bonus. So it's 7,500% weapon damage per second on the Ignite, and that should be reduced back to 3,000% as it was before they updated it, because Firebird was already performing pretty well, and as we can see here, it's actually performing a little bit too well. So it's a bit too easy to go that high. It's extremely strong. It's definitely another category on its own. And if they do this change, then it will drop by around 6 tiers, which would mean for our speedruns that we see here, something like 125 to 130. And that is still, comfortably higher than rats, but still a bit slower. And so that would probably kind of even out with rat runs and with other speed XP metas, with other pushing metas, and you would have a little bit more options as well. So this is what I wanted to share here. I am extremely excited for the season now because these runs are just really great. It is something new. It has a really unique interaction between the builds and how the wizards kind of feed off each other. That feels amazing. It's really fun, fast paced, and it feels rewarding to also just blast down, mow down those enemies when you have your stacks. So let's hope that this stays strong when the patch actually goes live. I am quite confident that the Blizzard is aware of how beloved new Firebird is, and I guess they also want to see us play it. So let's see what happens. Hope you like this video here, and see you guys next time.